Okay, so we're recording. Hi, everyone. Sharon here from Driftwood Blue Florals and also the coordinator for the Wedding Industry Supply Network. And we've got Venita here, who is a wedding celebrant. And finally, we've decided that Zoom is our go-to for our videos because
Finally.
unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, Facebook has removed the ability to do live multiple people in lives, whether it be in personal pages, groups, or whatever. So we now have resorted to Zoom. So thank you for joining us today. This is being recorded and will be shared to our Twizen Facebook group so people can watch back at any time. So, Venita, welcome,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you. How cool. We finally get to do this.
I know. So, you're my guinea pig for
No.
this surprise
I like
spotlight.
it.
So thanks for coming along the ride with me. This is something new that we're doing, which is something everyone should be doing and getting involved in learning a new skill and getting involved in doing something new. And don't be afraid to make mistakes because that's how we learn and grow.
Absolutely. That's what we teach our kids too.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Try and try again until you succeed. So I've got a few questions here for Venita, and I guess the reason why we wanted to do these supply spotlights is because I wanted to give people an insight into our the members in our group, but also an insight into um, their jobs, their careers, their businesses, and to also see how they are finding it at the moment and with the restrictions and maybe offering some few hints and words of encouragement for other business owners out there in the industry who are finding it really tough. And obviously, yes, and to just bring people together and just to create some connection there as well. So Venita, the first question I kind of have had for you is drum roll. um, as a wedding celebrant, what are your three top things that you really love about your job?
I love, obviously, I love meeting new people, meeting new couples, and going on their like their little journey, their big journey of their wedding planning. So you go along for the ride, and that's pretty cool. And you get caught up and get excited, and it's the lovely part of the ride with them. I love writing their ceremony, hearing all their juicy stories. So they both send me answers to questionnaires, and I get all their insights and love stories and engagement stories and what they like about each other and what they hate about it. What's bonkers about each other, that sort of stuff. And so writing that into a ceremony for each and every couple is great because each ceremony then is different. It's not the same thing over and over again. So that's pretty cool. And then I guess being there on the big day, seeing all the excitement, the nerves, the grooms, the brides, like seeing their faces and anxiety and everything, being there with them and helping them through and guiding them through that day. It's pretty cool. It's a great thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I suppose it wouldn't get, it would change every single couple, brings something completely new and different.
Absolutely. That's why you can't get bored doing this job because every single wedding is different because each couple has their own love story, like how they got to their big day. Everyone is different. So you can't get bored being a celebrant. So cool.
No, absolutely. That would be fabulous. I guess I have the same, like, because every style is different, although I do get some similarities and some commonalities happening. But I don't really get to meet the groom very much either. I only kind of deal with the bride most of the time. I've had a few grooms come along to our consultations and design things, and they kind of, it's almost like they've felt like they've had to go,
I get dragged along.
Yeah.
Generally, after you've been there like 5-10 minutes, you watch them, they start to warm up, they start to
Yes.
engage, talk about things that they like and what they want in the wedding, and the styling, the words that you use in the ceremony. They do start to warm up, especially if you've got that warm, engaging, personality. It brings it out of them. They actually,
Yeah.
they may go kicking and screaming to these meetings, but they actually really enjoy it at the end.
Absolutely. I find once we kind of get laughing and chatting and talking about all their ideas, and I actually start to bring them in and I say, what do you think about that? Do you think it's pretty, like, what are your ideas? And I think that really, exactly, the warmer you are and the more engaging you are and inclusive, they
Yeah.
actually end up really enjoying the meeting, because initially
Yeah.
they're like, oh, it's floral, flowers and colors and styling and rah rah rah. But yeah, once they start to feel like they have a sense of being part of it, then
Yeah.
they open right up.
I think so many people just disregard the groom.
Yeah,
They think, oh, he's not interested, or not in a mean way. They just think they may not be interested, and they may not be to begin with. But then when you start, involving them in decisions and talking to them about all the good stuff, they do. They love it. They love it, just as much as brides do as well. So
exactly, exactly. And if they can,
so
we can give them ideas about, ask some questions about what they're planning with their guys, and then that starts getting their ideas going and things like
because it's
that.
like buttonholes and all those bits and pieces that they want to be comfortable with. They might, have a Superman hero in amongst a rose petal or something. I don't know, but
Absolutely.
things like get them excited.
Yeah, the amount of guys that don't want a rose and a flower, like that is becoming more popular now, and that's completely fine. Like, I show them different ways they can have greenery, they can have different textures, they can, and everything's tied into the bridal bouquet, so they don't have to have that traditional rose. It's completely up to their unique style and personality of what they want. They can have a, I don't know, I've done lots of leucodendrons just, as a native, so there's lots of options.
Yeah, I agree totally. Make it up to them. Give them the ideas.
Absolutely, absolutely. Give them ideas and choice and involve them.
Yeah.
Um, and looking back, what was the pivotal moment? Like, what was the time in your sort of life that you went, I want to be a wedding celebrant? When did you make that decision?
I had a high end event management in corporate world role, and I got married, and my celebrant was awesome. Like, she was just so amazing, and didn't think much more of it after that. And then I got pregnant and thought, what am I going to do? Because I'm not one to sit around and twiddle my thumbs. Not that you do with babies anyway, but you still want to do something. So I thought, that celebrant thing, that was an awesome thing that she did for us. So I might give that a shot. And I had another friend who also was talking about celebrancy as well. So we thought, yep, let's do it together. And she never did it. She never came along on the
Oh,
ride. But I did. And look, that was 12, 13 years ago when I did the course. And things are a lot different back then, way, way different back then. But yeah, it was just, it was wonderful. It was a 2-day course in a hotel in Brisbane. And then they, did some homework, and then they gave me this registration in October 2008 and said, there you go be a celebrant. It's like,
wow.
no. So it was, yeah, it was a bit of a, trial by fire, but it worked. It was good. 12
Yeah,
years, here I am.
yeah. It's generally sink or swim, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But today, becoming a celebrant today, if you're starting out, there's so many good resources. The training is amazing. Like, the training today is so much better. And yeah, there's so many support groups. Back then, everyone kept all their cards close to their chest, and you weren't allowed to share anything or talk about things, because no one wanted to help you. So you just had to make it up as you went along. And I feel sorry for that first year or two's worth of couples, because I was probably a really bad celebrant. But now with all the support and everything around, it's a really, really good industry to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they didn't know. They wouldn't have known anything, and when you're first starting out, it's a value exchange of money, right? Of services. So
Yeah,
when you're starting out, you probably won't charge as much as what you do now because
yeah,
your experience, your value offerings is a lot different, a lot higher. So I remember when I got married, was it 13 years ago? Yes, I had an anniversary yesterday. Wow, 13 years.
That's
Um,
that's good.
yeah, it's long. It feels like a long time. It's only 13 years. Like that's not very many. But yeah, I remember looking back then. We had a fairly small budget, and we could only afford what we could afford, and we're happy with what we were provided, given the cost of things when we did our research. So it's really understanding that what value you're giving and how you also work out your pricing and what you kind of charge as well, isn't it?
And back then, it wasn't social media like there is today. I don't even know. I didn't think I even belonged to any social media when I got married. We're married 14 years next month, and there was nothing. There was nothing available on social media.
No,
You just bought a bridal magazine, and that was about it. You talked to your friends, and
Google
yeah, there
wasn't
was.
even around then, was it? No,
Oh,
I don't know how we did it. I really don't.
no. That's what we ran away. We ran.
Yeah.
We had a micro wedding. It's the best thing we ever did.
Oh, awesome. One of those.
Yeah, awesome. It's cool.
Yeah, there's not so much, there wouldn't be so much pressure and stress involved in organising a micro wedding, is there? I mean, I suppose you've got to really limit your amount of guests and be really, really restrictive on who you want there, but you want your closest and dearest, and that's it. And there's not that many people to have to look after, and not
And
as,
we had 20 people, including Brent and I, and all those 20 people are people we see every day. Well, not every day,
yeah.
but regularly today. And so, so many of my friends say, "Oh, we had 100 people, and I probably see 5 of them now." It's like, yeah, that's completely normal. And it's not everyone's cup of tea to have a small wedding, but it worked for us, and we loved it. We still talk about it today. Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps it really intimate. I think we had about 50 sit down, and we actually split because my husband's English. So in England, they have the wedding and the lunchtime noon area time frame, and then they have the party in the evening. So what we did was we had our wedding and we had our sit down, and then we invited guests to the party afterward, after the sit down and everything like that. So that was different again, and that worked really well because we could invite people that we may not necessarily see a lot, but will come along and just help us celebrate and just be part of the party. So yeah, there's lots of different things and ways you can
So many ways
do
to have a
things.
wedding.
Yeah. So there's elopement, there's micro elopement, especially now at the moment with the restrictions going on with COVID, which has really put our industry in a bit of a standstill. Um, yeah. And it's a lot of my bookings have been rescheduled to next year, as far back as I think that my most latest one is, I think they've just done a whole year September. So what was happening in September this year is now happening in September next year to keep their date. So everything's been pushed back a huge amount. But what a lot of people are doing is they're eloping. So they're getting their civil legals done. So there's something that Venita can also offer as well, doing a 5-person maximum civil ceremony to do your legals. And then what you can do is you can actually keep that secret. So you don't need to let anybody know that you're married. And it does actually, it has happened before all this COVID-19. We were just talking about how we've had couples in the past, for whatever reason, whether they're pregnant or they want to just get married. And
Lots of
sorry,
family.
Benita, what did
Oh, a lot of people with just some family issues. They just want to go and get married, and then we have the ceremony later on and the reception later on, and they just say, at the ceremony, these two snuck away whenever 2 months ago, and we got them married on a nice beach or a mountain or wherever. But today's the day they want to celebrate with all of you, you know, your friends and family. So yeah, there's ways to get around that, because there are different, you know, reasons why people do want to get married. It's not always, I mean, love's always involved, but sometimes there's other reasons behind it as well. So yeah, I don't think you can judge anyone if they want to quietly get married and then do it later or not do it at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got the couples who are just going, oh, look, let's just push the whole thing back and not even think about it. Let's just push it back for a year and then we'll do it all then. And then we've got the couples who are like really set on their date. They'd planned, you know, these couples have been planning this for 12 months to 2 years, and to have been forced to not be able to have the wedding that they planned must be so impactful to them. Like, it's not just an inconvenience, it is a complete force of having to change their entire plan for something they've planned for the last 2 years. And planning a wedding is massive. You know, it takes a lot of hours and hours of research and, you know, meetings and consultations. And so for those couples who really do want to stick to their plan in a way to actually get married, then you can do that. You can actually have your elopement, with the two witnesses. You can keep it secret, or you can let everybody know, and then plan to have the celebration later, which, you know, is a hugely popular thing to do, if you can do it and if you can afford it and if that's really what you want to do. It's something that can happen. And
I've had a couple of elopements that they got married still on the day or around that date, and we haven't told anyone, no one knows, and they're having, you know, they've told all their guests they've postponed their wedding until X date next year or later this year, and that'll be the big reveal, you know, at that ceremony then, and that's going to be really cool. That's going to be so cool to be part of. But it's also nice to, you know, get them married. And, you know, I did one in New Farm Park amongst the Rose Garden there, and some other places around Brisbane, and, you know, the bottom of the Glass House Mountains, like places like that. And yeah, no one has to know. No one has to know anything until the big day.
absolutely. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's about two people coming together. And so that gives you the opportunity to focus just on yourselves for that day. You know, on your big celebrations, so much is going on, and you kind of get lost in the moment, lost in your guests, lost in the party and the celebration. And if you're forced to reschedule what you've been planning for 2 years, you will feel potentially negative towards that date, or negative, oh, COVID, this happened then, and whereas if you can actually come together on that date that you planned and enjoy that moment will be forever special, in a moment in time in your life, and you can actually look back on that day with, you know, positivity and joy. And yeah,
You can have a reception at a different date. You can celebrate your anniversary twice. So more
absolutely. I didn't think about that. That's a couple of two different So just to move along with a couple of, I just got one or two more questions, because that's all we probably have time for today. I'm just having a look to see what 3 tips could you potentially give someone else in who is getting married, who's had to reschedule, to help them get through this restriction phase, to help them with their connection, perhaps with their partner, maybe something that could offer some words of wisdom and advice.
I think the biggest thing straight away is to get that new date locked in, because you're going to be moving so many suppliers to that new date. So try and, obviously it's your venue first. So try and lock that in with your venue as soon as you can, because next year, and I reckon it's going to go into 22 as well, it's going to be crazy busy. So you've got all the people that wanted to get married in 2021, plus all these postponements that are going to go into 2021. So get that done as soon as you can. Don't sort of sit and and ah about it lock that in so we can all move everything across. The sooner we can do that, that is brilliant. And it will also take a weight off everyone's shoulders as well. Once that's done, you'll just feel this whole sense of relief. That's what every one of my couples have said as well. So
Yeah, same. That's a huge tip, actually. Huge bit of advice. Don't try. I've got had couples sort of try and wait it out, and then they get left behind. So their dates that they want to in 2020 being scooped up. So some of the dates that are going to become more available could be midweek weddings because there's only how many weekends are there in a year, and we're going to have double the amount of people wanting to scoop up those dates. So
go for a Sunday, go for a Thursday. You know, those dates are great as well. Everyone can take a Friday off work generally.
Right, long weekend. I mean, who wouldn't jump at that opportunity?
Absolutely. So yeah, grab those. And sometimes, you know, things aren't as expensive if you're getting married midweek as well, or lots of things are more readily available. You know, some photographer celebrants, you know, florists, all those sort of things, they all book up pretty quickly on those key dates. So have a chat to have a chat to your partner and think about, and your venue, and think about, you know, locking in something a bit different.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good opportunity to do that because you really don't have to. Saturday, you know, it's one of the most popular days, but think outside the box. You're going to have to think outside the box and create something a little bit different. So it's a good opportunity to do that.
Cranky or cross if it has to be a Friday. Like everyone who you invite to your wedding, they love you. They want to be there and celebrate with you. So they've got lots of notice too. So it should be Friday should be fine.
Absolutely. And how do you feel about the future? Just to finish off with the last question, how are you feeling about the future and feeling positive?
I can't wait to hug people. I can't wait. The other day, I'm going to be that weird celebrant at wedding ceremonies going and just randomly cuddling people and kissing everyone, just, you know, being weird. Yeah. But no, look, I think 2021 and 2022 are going to be absolutely amazing. I think everyone's going to be so excited to celebrate and, yeah, go and hug people, touch people, you know, love physically, you know, get out there and just be celebrating with everyone. I think it's going to be really, really cool. And I'm so excited to be part of that. I think it's going to be wonderful to be
absolutely, part of. Absolutely. What this is forcing us to do is to take stock, take note, really reassess our connection with our family, with our people that we love. And it's really forcing us to really think about connection more because we've been so busy with work and pushing ourselves to just do more, be more, that now,
see people, hug people, talk to people, personal connection,
absolutely,
physical connection.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in saying that, that's a good segue to. I think we'd better call it a day, but thank you very much for your time. It's been awesome. It's been really good to chat.
Take care, everyone, and stay safe. Stay inside.
If you want to reach out to Venita, she is Venita Manning, Marriage Celebrant, and she has a Facebook page and a website page. So I'm sure if you need to chat, all the socials, if you need to chat about anything to do with your day, if you want to are still looking for a marriage celebrant, please get in touch with Venita. I'm Sharon. If you are looking for any florals or styling, anything to do with your wedding coming up, get in touch with me as well. I've got a Facebook page, website, Insta, all the socials. So I'm Driftwood Blue Floral and Events, and would love to help you out with your day, whether it's doing a civil a legal ceremony like we talked about, or actually just still in your planning phases and planning stages of your wedding, you're newly engaged. This is a complete different, unprecedented times at the moment. So you're probably still in your research phase, which is not a bad thing because you've got a lot of time to get online and do some research. But if you want to know information or need some help with anything, just reach out. We're only too happy to help answer any questions you might have. And we're both offering video consultations as well. That's part of what we do. I think we've always done that. I look after clients from interstate as well. So I usually, and people who are full-time workers. So one of the things that I always do is offer video Skype calls or Zoom calls to people to chat about their wedding anyway. So it's not very different to my normal, I just can't go to a cafe now. I think that's what you would you go to a cafe and do those sort of consults?
Got a glass of wine. But that's okay. There's plenty of time to drink wine and coffees, and it will happen again.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you very much. I will end our little interview. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And stay safe, stay strong, and be kind to everyone. Bye.
Bye.